Hi, it's Jacqueline Ely of Ely Equine, and I have Andre Picou here with me today. Always a pleasure chatting with you. And I wanted to chat briefly about couple different things actually. Most of my client base for the students that I work with and the horses that I work with are either the students are having an issue or a problem with their horse that maybe has instilled some fear in them, or they're a young rider or new to horses. Even if they aren't a young rider, maybe they are getting into horses later in life, and it's new to them, and they want to make sure that they're doing it right or learning correctly to work with their horse in a safe and fun way. So whether they're overcoming a fear or they're just learning, I wanted to get some feedback or advice from you in how to overcome a fear, or also how to maybe prevent an injury or to be as safe as possible for the young kids or the new to horses individual adult.
Cool. Well, that's a great question, a great point. Well, ideally, it's great when get started in horses. If our first season of experience, if you will, is a good one where we're on a good broke horse, and you can have the best instructor in the world, and it's like with you, you're a fantastic teacher.
Thank you.
But when you're first starting out, your teacher is really that old horse. You point, smooch, kiss to him, squeeze, kick him, cluck, whatever, turn him this way and that, and he's broke enough to where he just goes wherever you tell him to, even if it's by accident. He just goes along, and that's where a person really feels a little more comfortable and realize that they can control that animal. Regardless of whether you're starting out or a bad experience, confidence comes, from being able to exercise control, knowing you have control of that animal. I know in a lot of proverbial arenas, confidence is kind of a buzzword. Well, just be confident, just sit at home, be confident. Well, that's good till that horse, buries his head between his knees and jumps about 6 feet straight up in the air, is bellowing and snorting like a darn cow. So confidence comes where, you have to be in a situation where you can safely and execute control, turning left, right, and again, practice doing just those basic things of turning left and right, stop, back up, walk, trot, canter, and just practice riding and get to where you learn a little bit of what you're doing. But again, that is going to be best done on something that's pretty well broke. It's got some miles on it.
Sure.
He's going to go where you tell him to, and if you don't tell him to go anywhere, he's just kind of happy to sit there and go to sleep.
Well, we know there's that would be great to have that, and that's the ultimate, right? Is having the best teacher of a really good broke horse. But sometimes we have the horses that we're learning on that are maybe a little more green. And any tips for that? If your horse is maybe not super well broke yet, and that's what you've got. Any advice there?
Yeah, you want to, and everybody should. I mean, at some point. Now again, if you're 50, 60 years old, you just want to just go out and trail ride, and you get you an old broke horse, then hey, more power to you. But if you like or get into riding horses and working horses, then yeah, inevitably, you want to get something that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. But you want to remember the scale. The more you're only able to handle the lesser experienced horses, the more experience you gain. And then again, the lesser experience you have, you need that horse that has more experience. And so it kind of levels out. But you get, you have your horse that's not responding the way you need him to. Simplify. Put him in a small area. Practice turning left and right. Walk, trot, canter, circle, stop, back up. Make it simple to where he learns that when you ask him to do something, his job's to do it. Regardless of whether we're 50, 60, 90 or 10, you know, all the horse recognizes as leadership. Are you going to be the leader, or am I? You know, they don't discriminate between age, gender, you know, anything. It's just leadership. You know, so you know, that's something we have to be determined to be the leader. Simplify it if we need to. If he's giving us some problems, then let's don't worry about going on the trail ride. Let's don't worry about going to the show or the cow pasture. Let's just get in the pen, the pasture, and work him until he's doing more of what we need him to do more consistently.
And another good point that maybe you could touch upon is, you know, I've been in a position, and I'm sure many of us have, where maybe we have become fearful of something under saddle and felt like we were failing by going back to basics, going back to maybe even just groundwork while we try to gain better leadership with that animal, or get back to a place where we feel comfortable being in the saddle.
Sure.
You know, is any insight on that?
Nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all. You know, sometimes I've had horses that, you know, you get to a point, you know, that, you know, maybe taking a step back is not a bad idea. But now, I mean, at this point, you know, I want to make sure I have them doing well on the ground before I ever get on them.
Sure.
Because I don't want to have to go back and fix something. But it's taken time for me to learn that.
Sure.
And practice. And, you know, so, you know, as our worst critics really are ourselves. We think we're failing doing something. We want to give ourselves a break, and there's no shame in having to, you know, take a step back, and if you need to, or, you know, that's how we learn things. There's a lot of people that, you know, we'll meet that they've been in horses for a long time, and they ain't learned a darn thing. They're stuck. You know, I want to enjoy horses, you know, until Jesus comes, and so. I want to continue to be a good student, and sometimes there's some horses that are a little challenging. It might take me a little longer on the ground, or I might have to work on something a little more, or sometimes I might even have to back up. No, that's all right. That's all right.
Thank you for this information. Really, just a great chat.
Yeah.
You know, this is definitely something that can be frustrating for us, is overcoming a fear, or maybe just getting started with horses and knowing where to start and not wanting to mess up or do something wrong, and it really is just about practicing and gaining that control. So if you have any questions about this, or maybe you want to learn a little bit more, please reach out to Andre or I.